Welcome back, Lua friends. Today we're going to hopefully finish up our joystick module. Now that we can do all that good stuff and tell when joysticks are plugged in and unplugged and get all of that good input, because we loves ourselves some input, be it keyboard or joystick. So I want to just admit a couple of things to you. I had some issues with some of these if statements, and I had missed some thens and I had missed some ends, but I fixed all that. And in addition, I went ahead and did a require here, a local GPM for GamepadManager to require a GamepadManager object, the module here. And if you'll indulge me, let's go ahead and create a GamepadManager because we're getting close. And if you remember, we said as input we're going to take a table, and we're going to want to load this game controller database, game controller database.txt file, just like that. And we're also going to want to say GPM update DT. Do you see a pattern here? We're gonna deal with that also, but not yet. So our GamepadManager should let's run it actually and make sure that nothing fails, and of course it does. GamepadManager Lua 38. Check 38 here real quick, and yeah, love that joystick. That should yeah. Now we're good. Okay, so we have our GamepadManager, and he's actually working, I think, but we want to go ahead and get our button. Is that right? Yeah. One of the things that we want to do, and that is, let's see if I can find it on this little deal here. Let's see, gamepad down, and we should be able to find the gamepad buttons. And you can see basically what's really cool about SDL is it basically maps any controller. You can map any controller's buttons to basically an Xbox 360 format. So all of these buttons you can just basically ask for. And a lot of times you want to be able to use the D-pad, but you also want to be able to use the left stick as a digital pad. So that's where this more code comes in. So we want to be able to do that. So I want to add an additional parameter here, and we'll call it AD enabled. And if AD enabled, basically it means if AD enabled, let's just actually do this. Self.AD enabled equals AD enabled. So basically, what in the world does that particular thing do? Well, I'm glad you asked me, because what it does is if it's true, then the left analog joystick will be converted to its corresponding D-pad, basically button output. Now for that, if you look here, we'll go back here to let's go back here to, is it the joystick? I think it's get gamepad axis. So we're going to be using that, so to get the up, down, left, and right, and that returns a value between -1 and 1. But analog joysticks are not perfect, and so they don't sit at 0 exactly when they're at rest. So they have like a dead zone. So let's add a local variable, and let's call it dead zone. So we might have to tweak this, but I'm going to put the dead zone at 0.1. So basically anything below or above -0.1, between -0.1 and 0.1, we'll say that's not pressed, at least if we're doing the analog A to D analog joystick conversion. So I'll show you how we go about doing that. So we have down here more code. That's where we're going to do that. So we're going to say if self.A to D enabled, which means do we want to convert the left analog stick to D-pad buttons. So that's what we're doing here. If A to D enabled, then, and let's end. And what we want to do is we want to go and take this function, which is get gamepad axis, and we want to grab the axis, and the axes that we can use are here. We want left X and left Y to correspond to this left stick. So we'll say local x-axis equals, and we have the stick, so stick colon get gamepad axis, like that, and we'll say left X. And I don't know why it did that, but it did. So let's just try that again. Stop. Oh. There we go. And we want the y-axis, and that's going to be left y-axis. See how nice and pretty that all is? Beautiful. So now we want to say, basically we want to see if the user was asking for the buttons. Where are the buttons? Buttons. They're actually right here. So we can say is gamepad down and gamepad buttons. So we want to check and see if basically if any of these buttons were pressed, and then we want to basically do a conversion from the analog stick if this A to D is enabled. So if this button, say, was the D-pad right button, then what we want to do is we want to say is down equals the x-axis is, if it's greater than the dead zone, which is 0.1, and right is going to be closer to 1, then we're going to say, hey, it's down. The D-pad right button is down, basically. So we'll do the same thing for the other buttons, and we'll say else if button equals DP left, then is down equals x-axis, and this time we're going to go the other way, less than negative dead zone. And then we're going to do the same thing. Else if the button equals DP up, then is down. You get this pattern here. X-axis is greater. Is it greater? Yeah, no. Is it greater or less than? Up or down? I don't even remember. I don't know. Is it which axis? Axis. We may have to change that. Returns. Well, let's just pick one here. I'm not sure which way it goes, but let's just say for now, let's say less than negative dead zone. We can always change this if it's not right. And let's copy this, and then we'll say DP down. It's a lot less to type this way. And then we'll say is down, y-axis greater than the dead zone, and we'll say end. So there we will, if that A to D is enabled, we'll do that conversion. If he's asking for a D-pad, then we'll return it if the D-pad is actually down, or if that's enabled. See, and actually we want to make sure if D-pad is enabled and not is down. So if the D-pad's actually down, we don't want to change it. So that, my friends, should be the pretty much what we want here. But we also want a couple of other functions. So let's do those also. And that one of those is function GPM. We may want to know if a certain joystick ID exists. Well, that's not too difficult to do, is it? We can take this, and we can basically say, I believe we can say, can we do an and here instead of just saying all this? I think. Right? Yeah, I think that'll work. We got another error here at 10. Oh, expected to close if at 88. Right here. Okay, so I've messed that up then. Return false end. I don't know why. End, return is down, end. End, return is down, end. Sounds like a song. Comment this out real quick. Okay, that's good. Commented, uncommented. Right. Good. We're just gonna go through this line by line, of course, and well, that's all good. Okay. Oh, there. These else ifs are all together instead of two words. There we go. All right, so we have, I think, well, let's see. Let's think about this. We actually don't have this stuff yet. So what we want to do here, we want to say for I equals 1 to the length of self dot what is it we want to do here? Is it connected? It's actually the button map, isn't it? Yeah, because the button map is going to be... No, we're changing that to nil. So what do we want to do? Let's do connected sticks. So basically we'll go up and down. We only want the index here because we're going to use the index. We're going to use the index to go and route around here, okay? So if we'll say if self dot button map of I, which is the joystick ID, by the way, okay? If that's good, basically if it's not nil, then we're going to do some clearing out of those key value pairs. So we'll say for k, comma underscore in pairs of self dot button map of I yeah, and then we'll say do, and then we'll say self dot button map of I of the key, and we'll clear that out and we'll say that's nil. We're going to get rid of it. You see what I'm doing? And we'll end, and let's run this and make sure I haven't gotten in. Yes, I have, of course. Do expected near if. Oh, right here. Yes, of course. Yeah. Do. I think I have that right, but I'm not completely sure, to be honest. Let's check. I'm gonna plug a joystick in really quickly, and let's assume that should be joystick number 1. So let's try something. Say if gpm dot button, right? It's button joystick 1, and let's call it button A. Then, so basically we're going to see if that button is, let's see button down. So if it's just been pressed down, print A is down. Yes. I'll check that. So let's see, is it working? Actually, that's probably not button. That's probably not the right joystick. Ah, sure enough, look at this. This ID should be Joy ID. I believe I had that problem in the last episode, and I didn't realize it. So let's do, let's see, how do we do it? A search and replace, and let's say ID, and let's replace it with Joy ID, and we'll just filter through all of these and make sure that we get all the ones that we need to get. Now, we don't need to get that one. Let's undo that one. Go to the next one, next. Those look fine. It's just the one where we add Here's one. And I think that's all of them. So let's rerun this. And 62, I messed something up, didn't I? I did, like right here. That belongs there. And we should be running now. Let's bring this over. And we have a true. So we're good. That's good. That's really good. So we're connected. And we also are, where did that go? Are we printing that down here? Is that where we're doing? I don't remember where we put that. There it is. Okay. We don't need that any longer. So let's load this up. And when you do this, make sure you're not focused on the console window, but you're focused here. Because that actually gave me an issue a minute ago. A is down. So I'm pressing it, holding it, and it's only going once. So that's great. That's working, people. That's actually working. We are so happy right now. Let's make sure that the up state is working real quick. And we'll go A is up. Load that. What did I do? Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Else if. Yes, else if. Bring this back over, click over here, and then we'll say up, down, and that's actually working correctly. So we have, I'm going to delete this. We have done it, ladies and gentlemen. There's one more thing that I want to grab to stick in here, and that is let's actually be able to ask for a particular stick. And we'll just say, again, joy ID. So we're going to be able to get a stick by the joystick ID. And we'll say self dot, we'll return, I'm sorry, return self dot connected sticks of joy ID. So either that will be null or that will be an actual stick object. Now, I think I would like to put this, instead of connected sticks, I'd like to say is connected. I'm going to use that and loop through it that way. We'll just run it real quick again and make sure that it's all, yep, it all looks good, people. So we have, I think, pretty much completed our GamepadManager, except we need to add some events right here. So let's go ahead. Even though we are pushing time here, let's go ahead and do that. And let's, for now, we may actually make this global, but for now, we're going to do it this way. So we're going to pull in our event class here. And we're going to make, not here, we're going to go into new. We're going to make an event class here, just like that. So we're going to say self.event.invoke this controller removed, and we will send the ID here. And here we will go ahead and register those events. Event colon what is it? Add? Yes. Add. Add, and then we're going to say controller removed. And we're also going to say we want to add controller added. All right. And we will go ahead and do a copy and paste, and we'll say controller added here. Let's run it and make sure there are no problems. And there are some issues. So let's see. Oh, it's events. It's events. And this is, we'll just go ahead and make this match. So events. Like so, and let's see. Yep, we've got that all going on. Let's subscribe to those events. Let's see. Where are we here? We're GamepadManager. Let's just subscribe to one of them and just make sure that it works. Dot event dot hook, right? Is that correct? Yep, hook. And the event type is controller added. And then we'll say on controller added will be our event. And we'll go ahead and grab this. We'll say function on controller added joy ID end, and we'll just print controller joy ID added, right? And goodness gracious, we might as well go ahead and hook up the removed and make sure that all works too. Removed, and we'll grab that and say that, and we'll say on controller removed and removed. So we should be able to, and let me show you, I'll drag this over. Controller added, I already had it plugged in, and I'll unplug it, and controller 1 removed. So it looks like we are good to go. Now we may change that event, this little event, basically it's like a little local guy. We may actually make a global event manager, and if we do, we'll just change this, and then you can just subscribe globally to these controller events, and that might be a little bit better. But that's for another day and another time. And until then, it's been a lot of fun, and we've got some stuff done. See you next time.